everyone. Welcome to Beat Keeping Thursday, pre-recorded from my living room in Brunswick. This is Mrs. Piper's music room. For today, you're going to need some tape or something that you can stick to some of your fingers and your fingernails. I know, it's crazy. So I use painter's tape a lot in my classroom. I have rolls and rolls of it everywhere. And if you're wondering where you can get painter's tape at a pretty good price, we have a store in Northeast Ohio, at least, called Marks. And they have a closeout section. And they have painting supplies in there consistently. And that's where I get all my painter's tape from. It's a good price. It's not the best quality painter's tape. Not like 3M. But it does the job if you're painting. I will say that. And it certainly works for what I need to use it for in my classroom. I put painter's tape on the floor to show people where to stand or where they can't go. If I want to make a little straight line, stand on the line, stand on the spot. And then I use it a lot. Oh my gosh. I've put it on recorders. If I have people that have trouble with their thumbs covering the back hole, I'll just stick a piece of painter's tape over that. It's so super easy. And then when you get to the higher pitches where you have to release that, you can just take it off really easy. And I use it for this. Okay, so we're starting with something called a finger play for Beat Keeping Thursday. Finger plays are really important for little kids because they're just learning how to manipulate their hands and to get some coordination there and like what we call dexterity of the fingers. So you have to be able to manipulate your fingers. And most finger plays, like a long time ago, when I was young, where you learned them from your parents or your grandparents or your great-grandparents, and that doesn't happen so much anymore. And there's a lot of reasons why, but a big reason is that families are now like moving away from each other. So it's kind of getting away from that idea of like you always grew up in your town and you stayed in your town. Well, now like with the way travel is and communication, you just move to other places and it's not a big deal, but sometimes grandma or great grandma isn't babysitting you and telling some of those stories and some of the songs from the culture that they had learned from their parents. And so it just doesn't happen as much anymore because it's difficult to do. And so also like it's great you have the communication of like the chats and the FaceTime and things, but it's hard to teach this to a grandchild because sometimes you have to show them how to move their fingers. So if you know finger plays, do me a favor. Please teach it to somebody who's young, like a neighbor, anything, just so that these can be learned. Because it's sometimes when I come into school and it's kindergarten and they don't know how to do some of these, I have such great memories of learning these from my grandma. It's like, oh my gosh, oh. But anyhow, this one's fun and it's like a magic trick. I always like to make kindergarten a little bit magical and I do tricks and stuff all the time. So this is one of my magic tricks I do. I gotta move the camera down so you can see because I'm gonna tap my fingers in my lap like this. Okay, so you put the tape on two fingers. Two little blackbirds sitting on a hill. One named Jack and one named Jill. Fly away, Jack, fly away, Jill. Come back, Jack, and come back, Jill. Oh, how did you do that? Most of the children are convinced that I stick the tape in my hair and they want to look at my hair and I let them. I let that go on for a class where I just show it to them and it's magic and they say it with me. There's one or two kids in every class that knows how to do it and I always say, shh, don't talk about the magic yet. And I promise that I will show them how to do it in the next class. And so I just say, then the next class I put tape on everybody's fingers and let them try. And then I say, look, you just switch your fingers. So when you go behind your head, you pull in the finger and you stick out a different finger. So it's easiest to change these two next to each other. But for some kids, it's easiest to do this change and do your pinky. So it's on your level of finger dexterity where you are. Okay, so I say just pick any finger to change to because that saves some tears from happening. Because sometimes kids can't do this. They're not ready for that yet. And I say, oh, this one's really hard to change to. And they like the challenge knowing that. And I say, just do this one. If you can't do that, that's fine too. All right, so let's try it again. Two little blackbirds sitting on a hill. One named Jack and one named Jill. Fly away, Jack. Fly away, Jill. come back, check, and come back, Jill. Yeah, and I did this switch this time, if you didn't notice. Sometimes you really do, when you teach this, you have to, when you teach the magic, you have to go, now put out a different finger, and then they get it. And then you have to go behind your head and show you how you do that change too. All right, but that's a fun one. I remember I learned that from my Grandma Julie, and I remember, oh my gosh, how did you do that? Ah. It took a while to get it. Okay, we're gonna do next a song that has some motions to it. The Horse Stood Around. You can do this standing up or sitting. Kids like getting out a lot of the energy, so they like to stand up. And a lot of times I sit down to do this one because my kindergarten last year was in the afternoon, so I was pretty tired by then. But there's also a point where you do have to sit down to get it to be really funny. So, oh, the horse stood around with his foot on the ground. Oh, the horse stood around with his foot on the ground. Oh, the horse stood around with his foot on the ground. Oh, the horse stood around with his foot on the ground. Same horse, other foot. Oh, the horse stood around with his foot on the ground. Oh, the horse stood around with his foot on the ground. Oh, the horse stood around with his foot on the ground. Oh, the horse stood around with his foot on the ground. Same horse, both feet. Oh, the horse stood around with his foot on the ground. Oh, the horse stood around with his foot on the ground. Oh, the horse stood around with his foot on the ground. Oh, the horse stood around with his foot on the ground. Same horse, changing feet. Oh, the horse stood around with his foot on the ground. Oh, the horse stood around with his foot on the ground. Oh, the horse stood around with his foot on the ground. Oh, the horse stood around with his foot on the ground. Same horse, no feet. This is where you gotta sit down, and then everybody puts their feet up into the air. Ah! Oh, the horse stood around with his foot on the ground. Oh, the horse stood around with his foot on the ground. Oh, the horse stood around with his foot on the ground. Oh, the horse stood around with his foot on the ground. Yes, awesome. So you can see it's when you teach that one and you just want them to listen to your voice, you got to sit down and do that. Otherwise, you'll be huffing and puffing as you are hopping and jumping with them. But they can get all that energy and as they're listening to your voice. And then just let them decide which way they want to do it when they're singing on their own. All right, to end, we're going to do keeping the beat. Find a way to keep a beat on your body. You can do what I'm doing, or you can come up with a way on your own. It's great if you can make a cross with your body in some way, or switch things around. If you want to use other parts of your body, that's fine. For a camera angle, I usually try to just stay in this area. And sometimes I like to add in conducting depending on what the piece is. So here we go. Ooh. Classic. Spider fingers. We're going to get our conducting ready. Hands up, down, up. Yes. Bravo to you. Yay! Nothing like a little bit of Mozart to start off your day. Hey, I I hope you had a wonderful time beekeeping. If you know any finger plays, share them with somebody today, or show them to little blackbirds. That would be awesome. Yay. And do your part for spreading music to everybody. I hope you have a wonderful day. Go ahead and share this video, subscribe, like, follow everything. You know the drill. And I'll see you tomorrow for Reading Music Friday. Bye-bye.